Did you know that about 6.8% of people are living with diabetes unknowingly? And did you also know that diabetes is among the top 10 causes of leading deaths in the world? How are you guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My good name is Zan Karaoke or Anita or at Ant's Nutrition and Lifestyle, all those names, guys. And today we are going to tackle matters health, and we're talking about this monster called diabetes. This is part one, guys. I hope you've answered the question that I have asked at the beginning of the video. So let's get into it, guys. So, guys, today we are going to tackle diabetes as per the introduction, and basically this is something that I am so passionate about because it has caused so many deaths of our loved ones. I know even as you watch this, there's someone you know who has diabetes, maybe a parent, a cousin, a relative, anyone, but I'm sure you know somebody who is suffering from diabetes. I also know that you might have lost someone who has suffered from diabetes. And from the question I asked, do you know your diabetic status? Most of us don't go to get checked. We don't get our blood sugar levels checked. So we don't even know whether you're diabetic or not. So we are going to tackle part one where we are going to look at the overview of what diabetes is, the symptoms, and for the part two, which will come later, we're going to look at the dietary part of it. So let's get into it. So diabetes is basically the inability of pancreas to produce insulin, which is a hormone which helps in the uptake of glucose that is in the food that we take. Or again, it can be the pancreas produce the insulin, but the cells are resistant to it. So it's either of the two, guys. Yeah, and when we speak about diabetes, we have so many types of diabetes, whereby we have type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, we have gestational diabetes, and recently there's another one that has no much information, which is type 1.5 diabetes. So we start with type 1 diabetes. For type 1 diabetes, sorry guys, I always tell you to take your water. So for type 1 diabetes, this is also called juvenile diabetes, and basically this happens mostly for people below the age of 25. And what causes juvenile diabetes? It can be genetics, whereby it's inherited. When you talk about genetics, we talk about inheritance. So maybe someone in your lineage, in the family lineage, had diabetes, and now you have it. Also, it can be caused by disorders maybe affecting the pancreas, the liver, those ones, all those can be causes for type 1 diabetes. Then we come to the type 2 diabetes. This one basically is whereby, and for type 1 diabetes, the pancreas produces little or no insulin at all. Then we come to type 2 diabetes. For this one, it's associated with the lifestyle, whereby that is where we come with the what you eat. Yeah, so for example, maybe you used to taking high glycemic index foods, and we're going to get into deeper details of this when we come to part 2. So what do I mean by high glycemic index foods? Basically, when we look at foods, we look at how long does the sugar in food take to be absorbed by your cells. So when you say of high glycemic index foods, these are foods that they take very little time, and so this might overwork your pancreas. And when you overwork your pancreas over a period of time, it's like just you, when you overworked over a period of time, there's a time you'll just shut down. So that is what happens basically. So high intake of high glycemic index foods over a long period of time, it can also, yeah, basically that is the main cause, the lifestyle. And for this type, you can manage it with diet. I forgot to tell you, for type 1, it is insulin dependent. This means that you have to inject insulin every day. You have to inject insulin. For type 2, you can manage it with diet, okay? Then we have gestational diabetes. This one mostly happens in pregnancy, caused by changes in hormones. And if it is not high, it's not very high, whereby you also need to consult with your gynecologist. If it is not very high, you can manage it with diet. In most cases, you find that after pregnancy, it tends to go away. So very few cases that it continues even after pregnancy. Then you have type 1.5. It is in between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. And for this one, there's no much information to it, so I'm not going to give deeper details. Research is still going on. Sawa. Okay, so then again, when we're talking about diabetes, there's something we need to know. We talked about you going to get checked for your sugar levels. We check with the machine, with the glucometer, whereby unainjectiwa kidogo, and then your blood sample is taken, then your sugar levels are taken. It's a few seconds, a minute or two, yeah? And for normal sugar levels, mostly they range between 4 to 6. So if they go high, maybe they're from 6 to 7.9 there, that is pre-diabetic. And that is where you're told, go see your nutritionist. We don't want to get to the diabetic. So if you're pre-diabetic, you can manage it with diet. If it goes above 8, then you're diabetic. If it goes below 4, you're diabetic. Remember, we have high blood sugar and low blood sugar. So if it is low, that is where we say hypoglycemia. That means low. Then if it is high, we say hyperglycemia. And that is where now it's above it going forward. So for the symptoms of diabetes, it depends on your sugar levels. Basically, because you'll find someone with high blood sugars, their symptoms are, some symptoms are different with low blood sugar levels. So we start with if you have low blood sugar levels. So this means this usually is caused by maybe you've not taken enough food, maybe you took food an hour after your medication, or 2 hours, or maybe you took your medication in the morning and you're eating your food at 11. So it might cause low blood sugar levels, and this means that your cells do not have enough sugar, so your energy will be low, and basically you will have general body weakness. Okay guys, yeah. And again, with low blood sugars, you might even faint, because remember, your sugars are low. So among other symptoms, if your blood sugar is high above normal, one, you'll feel thirsty, quite thirsty. Remember, it's like if you put, let me give an example. If you put salt in meat, it draws the water away. So you keep feeling thirsty, you keep taking a lot of water. So what happens? And your kidneys are not able to filtrate well. So your urine, you'll have faulty smell. Again, you'll keep taking water. The water intake will be a bit high, guys. So what happens because of the high water intake? You frequent urination. Sawa. Again, when you have high blood sugar levels, you might have blurred vision. Yeah, so among other causes. So guys, these are some of the things you need to check for. And some symptoms, for example, even headache comes with high blood sugar levels. Some symptoms might be due to other disease causes. So don't have general body weakness, headaches, blurred vision, and say that you have diabetes, because a headache can be caused by hypertension, that is high blood pressure. It can be caused due to stress. So you need to visit your doctor and do the checkup. Okay guys, yeah. So I always insist, make sure when you go to the hospital, most of these government hospitals are free of charge. You find these states, they are free of charge. Make sure you do your checkup so that you can know whether your sugar levels are okay. So guys, that was just an introduction part. On the part 2, we are going to get into deeper details, because for diabetes, it is managed by drugs, diet, and exercise. And diet is a very important factor in diabetes. It can level your sugar levels to a point that you even forget you had diabetes. Remember, we said, for example, for the type 2, it is lifestyle. You can manage it with diet. Yeah, so we are going to get into deeper details on how we are supposed to eat, and we are going to get into deeper details of these something we are calling glycemic index foods. So guys, watch out for part 2. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. For the new subscribers, please hit on the subscribe button and get on the lookout for part 2. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Have yourselves a great day.